Peace, family, peace. We are now live. We are now live. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. As y'all can see, I'm with Dr. B Sirius. I'm about to bring the brother on. But as usual, before I do, I'm gonna get to take a quick commercial break. A new commercial too. New commercial for y'all tonight. I hope y'all enjoy it. We got some serious things coming up. Today's a serious day, the 21st. And we're gonna have a good time tonight. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you tell your friends and family we are live. And we'll be right back, family. Right back.
My name is Dr. B Sirius. Billy Carson and I will be presenting a very special workshopping class called the Blueprint for GodPower. On January 7th, I'm going to teach you how to tap into the divinity code within every one of your cells, which lights a fire towards your desires, where your wishes become manifestation. If you are seeking radiant health, sustainable wealth, and limitless love, be at this workshop. God power is when you begin to crystallize your imagination. When you become intentional, you'll get a blueprint of how to conduct yourself, to anchor yourself, the captain of your ship, so you can ride the wave where your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are working together for your higher self. So come, get the tools of transformation, because this information has never been given like this before. After this day, you'll know exactly who you are and how to move forward. 2023 and beyond, the blueprint for God power is yours.
Dr. B, man, that's a good commercial, man. We pulling out everything for this workshop, man. I mean, this is top tier. I'm gonna post the link for the workshop in the chat. But at this time, I want to bring the brother on, the one and only Dr. B Sirius. Welcome back, my brother.
Man, it's an honor to be here once again, and let's do it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, let's make it happen. Um, the topic. When will you email the tickets? Yeah, Shadow, you I believe you won a ticket. You don't get sent the tickets. Your email gets put on a list. So you won't get emailed the ticket, Shadow. You will get put on a list of people, a guest list of people who are invited to the workshop. So shout out to you, Shadow, for I remember your name. Shout out to you for winning the ticket that day. You know, Doc, with this topic, this is a serious topic, and you know, I like when I do workshops because it makes me do research and it makes me study more than I usually study. So I've been doing a lot of studying on DNA. I think it's just something that a remarkable and a very interesting topic and subject, and just learning so much. And one of the things that I find interesting, one of the things that you and Billy Carson is going to deal with the day of the workshop is epigenetics, and this is like groundbreaking research. Shout out to Bruce Lipton, that could potentially free us from what we think we're enslaved to, which is your mother, your grandmother, your great grandmother, your great 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 great. You think you're a slave to your genes, and the science of epigenetics just opens up a whole new world for us and our capabilities and abilities. So, with that being said, Dr. B, I'm researching and I'm finding out that 2% of our genes code for protein that make up the body. Now, the other 98% is what they call the junk DNA. Now, they say, from what I'm reading, that 98%, like imagine if you had 98% of a pizza pie, that's damn near the whole pizza pie. That 98% is for epigenetic activation. Now, that, my friend, is quite astounding. 98% for epigenetic activation, only 2% for coding of the protein in the human body. Talk to me about this junk DNA that we've heard since for so many years, for decades and decades, and how we're finding out that it's actually used to activate these epigenetics.
First of all, most of the information
Mhm,
that we have received
mhm,
from our scientific community
mhm,
and many of our quote unquote academics
mhm,
were wrong. most of the sciences that we call sciences are not exact. They are theories, ideas, points of view, stories. Some things are transliterations. That means somebody, transcribed it and put in their own artistic, slant on the thing. So we're going to school and learning and listening to professors, which means to profess. Doesn't mean you actually know. It means you profess to know. That's what a professor or even a professional is, one who professes to know. Doesn't mean they actually know. It means that they are using their best estimate based on their programming, their point of view, and also based on how much light they are able to hold in their body. If you cannot hold enough light, and a lot of your light is bouncing off, then your information is not going to be full. Because in order to have a full picture, you have to have broad vision. You can't have vision that's based on, politics. You know what I'm saying? All of the isms. It can't be based on commerce. It can't be based on war, power, control, narcissism. When it is, then the information that is being given by that particular person is being given to you because that person is attempting to put an angle or a spin on the information so that people can stay in power. When you have a few people who choose to stay in power, their thing is to give the people misinformation, which in your mind, sometimes something doesn't feel right, but you go along with it. So, you have a type of cognitive dissonance. And this information becomes, it's written in school. You got to repeat it and hear it. And you keep hearing the DNA, the genes, they have it all. The genes are waiting to be worn. You go buy a pair of jeans in the store. They are just pants. It's cotton and, dye. But jeans can't get up and walk by themselves. Whether they're Levi's or whatever, whatever kind of jeans you wear. Remember back in the day, it was Jordache jeans. You know what I'm saying? But we have been given information by those who may not totally have understood, overstood, understood, and they definitely couldn't exostand. Because when you exostand something, that means you stand outside of it without your opinion, without your personality, without your angle, without your beliefs. You stand totally outside of it and you're neutral. When you can be totally neutral, that's when you can get to the facts and the truth. And the truth is that your genes are waiting to be worn. They're waiting for you to slip in them. And then you can go to the farm or the farmer's market or to the herb store or go visit some friends who are truly friends. When you are wearing jeans that don't fit right, you force yourself in them or they're too big and you use a belt to pull them tight because they were hand-me-downs. A lot of this information is hand-me-downs or it doesn't fit right. So as Bruce Lipton and others are now saying and have proven, is that the genes are not the program that controls your life. See, they have this concept called gene determination, that your genes will determine your life. Only 2% of the gene programming comes from your parents, comes from your foremothers and forefathers and your ancestors. The rest of it is waiting on you. How you think, how you talk, how you act, what you eat, who you're around is what programs the genes to experience or unfold or express themselves based on the environment. For instance, there was a guy who went to school with us. He was a nerd. He never fought. He was skinny. He had thick glasses on. All he did was study. Well, he comes up with some computer program or something that's hacking. He's a hacker now, you know what I'm saying? And he goes to jail for hacking. He goes to a hardcore prison with hardened criminals. Do you know within 2 years he was running the prison?
Wow.
When he got out, he had more of the criminal mindset than, first of all, he went in, and everybody in the prison. Because he took on the environment. He's a hacker, so he's into programming. You know, when you're into digital binary code, you're looking at the ones and zeros, off and on, dark and light, up and down. You're looking at those things, and he calculated how to control his environment so he could make it. Your genes, whatever environment they're in, they begin to express based on that. So if you live a mindset of being poor, broke, lonely, a victim, then guess what they do? They say, this is what we're creating, an environment where they're listening to you. They're coding based on you until you learn how to biohack the code, until you learn how to change the vibration of your system, until you learn how to take full control of your vessel. But what you are living, right, is the life you designed. Now, part of it you may have, you kind of came upon. Things happen in your life. But each day you get a chance to send a new piece of information to your genes. Now, the reason why this is not popular, because most of the medicines, especially when you deal with pharmaceuticals, it's based on genes. So when Bruce Lipton started saying, hey, listen, it's interesting. Bruce Lipton puts, I think it was skin cells in a petri dish. And, he decides he's got to go home. And I think he was a little tired or a little off. And whatever medium you put in the petri dish, so let's say you put sugar, salt, whatever you put in the petri dish becomes the food of the cells or the genes that you have in that petri dish. What he said he did was he changed the solution just a bit, the ratios of the solution. And he put it in his special container or refrigerator and went home. He comes back the next day and his skin cells are not in the petri dish. I think it was bone. He's like, where's my skin cells? Where'd they go? They turned into bone cells. And no one knows what the heck is going on. What do you mean? Nobody could have changed this. So, it kind of blows his mind. This is a genetics specialist. This is one of the people who helped come up with what they call, what is it called? When they give you new bones, new heart, new
stem cells. Stem
cell technology.
Yeah.
I got to take some more focus.
All right.
You got my temperature up hot.
By the way, real quick, family, the link to the workshop is pinned at the top of the chat for anybody who's interested in joining the workshop on January 7th. The link is pinned at the top of the chat, family. Go ahead, Doc.
When he inadvertently changed the environment and the food of the cells changed. So he begins to do it again. He changes the environment again and again. And he ends up making most of the cells of the human body based on a couple cells, right? Or a couple genes. And he changes the pool around the genes, the food of the genes, the environment of the genes. At that point, he realizes that he's having a spiritual moment. And he realizes that the information that the genes are using to express their life force is coming from outside. That's why they call it epi. Epi means, outside or coming down into the genes. The genes are waiting for a program. They're waiting to be warned. So this means that each of us has the opportunity to change the way our genes are expressing themselves. Now, you may not be able to change that 2%, and 2% doesn't seem like a lot, But that 2% has got to do with your eyes, your hair, the way you look, sometimes the way you talk. Well, actually, a lot of those things, the way you talk and everything is epigenetic because it was environmental. Look, there were families where everybody wore glasses in the family. One child was, sent away at a very young age to another family, adopted. That child didn't wear glasses. Everybody in the family wore glasses. Or there was families where everybody had something like diabetes. One child didn't grow up with the family, grew up with another family that didn't have diabetes. Guess what? This child doesn't have diabetes. Because the program that child was getting was different than the program everybody else got. Because everybody else believed in diabetes. They agreed with it. About diabetes runs in our family. You hear about that at the family reunion. They talk about all the things that run in our family. So what you're doing is you're winding your genes up, and your genes are listening to you because your genes are your genies. They say, the genie asks you, you know what I'm saying? The genie pops up. You rub the bottle, which is your body. A vase or the vase that the genie is in is your body. That's the bottle is a body. That's why it's shaped like that. You rub the body and a mist, the top pops off. The opening, the top of the head opens and a mist comes out. The mist is the vapor, which is basically the quantum field waiting for a program to be programmed into it.
Talk to him, Doc.
It's a mystical vapor. That vapor becomes the genie. The genie asks, what are your desires? The gene is asking you, what is your desires? And all day long, you're telling your genes your desires by how you're eating, how you're talking, what you're listening to, what you're believing in. You see what I'm saying? What you're eating. All of that is creating an environment. Your body is mostly made of water. So when you're taking in substances, right, no matter what it is, it vibrates the water. Information travels faster through water than it does through air. So now, if your body is 70, 80% water, then guess what? The water begins to vibrate with what you are vibrating on. What you're eating, what you're saying, what you're thinking, what you're doing, what you're believing, what you're canting or chanting out of your mouth becomes the vibration of the water. The water begins to vibrate and make crystalline structures through cymatics. The sound of your voice, the sound of your food, the sound of what's in the air, all of those things create the vibration of the water in your body, and your body takes shape. Did you know that they found that people on drugs, their brain begin to take the shape of the drugs? And this is really deep. This is Gabor Mate. Check out Gabor Mate. Gabor Mate realized that people who went to a certain drug house, their brain began to be shaped like the room that they were in the drug house.
You talking about neuroplasticity?
Neuroplasticity. So you got all kinds of plasticity, not just of your neurons, but of your body. You begin to take on the shape. Like, look at people who've been married. They're from different families. They've been married for 30, 40, 50 years, and they look the same. Their expressions are the same. How did they begin to look? Their bone structure changes.
People even start looking like their dogs.
They look like their dogs, or the dogs look like them.
Look like them, yeah, either, yeah.
Whichever way.
Yeah.
You begin to take on your environment because your environment is what you're in, and you're just like you have cells in your body. You're a cell. Yourself is a cell in the thing you call Earth, in this environment, which is a body. The Earth itself, Gaia, or Ethos, or Asia. Asia Major is the planet, or Alkebulan. You're inside the body of this being. You see what I'm saying? This is why going out in nature is so important, because as you go in nature, it begins to grow new nerves, new neurons begin to grow based on the vibration of nature. Now, nature is always attempting to get you to shift back to being who you really, truly have the ability to be. So things happen. So what's happening today that gives us a chance to change who we are. Well, today at about 4:58 or so on the East Coast, boom, the sun went to its lowest point in the sky. They call that the solstice. The sun stops, or the sun takes a stance. Solstice. It's the longest day, shortest night. This is the beginning of winter. First of all, why is it called winter? Because you have a chance to win. You have a chance to win if you know how to use the season called winter to reprogram and activate your DNA for the next seasons. But were you taught this? No, of course, because the politics and the people in control, they may not want you to really know how to operate your spaceship, your Earth suit, so that they could stay in charge. But when the sun stops, the ancients said that it looks like the sun has died on the 21st on the cross. Because if you take, you take where the sun is at the, if you look at the earth and you have the equator, you have the line between the North Pole and the South Pole, and it makes a cross. Those lines make a cross. So at the lowest point in the Northern Hemisphere, the sun is the furthest from us in the Northern Hemisphere. So the sun has to travel through more atmosphere to get to us. So it's cold here. But guess what? In the Southern Hemisphere, it's summer. Summer is beginning because the sun is right over them. So the summer sun here has died. It has fallen. And it looked like for 3 days. So you got the 21st, it dies. 22nd, 23rd, 24th, it's not moving. It's setting at the exact same place. It's not moving gradually along the horizon. So they said the sun has died. The ancients were worried. What if the sun doesn't move again? We'll freeze to death. It's going to be winter forever. On the 25th, the sun began to gradually move back. That's the day they said the son of God, or the son of nature, the son of Neshru, the son of the all. The son is born. The new son is born. Of course, that's what they call Christmas. The day the Son of God is born. It's real. They're telling you the truth. They're just kind of transliterating the story a little bit to put personality on it and to put people in it. So today begins a sequence. Because guess what else is happening today? We're talking about the sun and the way the earth wobbles in its relationship to the sun. But something else is beginning to happen right now. The earth is at its closest point to the sun. And the earth is right in between Sirius. The earth is in between Sirius and the sun. And that continues to a certain point, which is coming up in the very near future, when everything shifts. But right now, the event that's about to happen is on the horizon. Once you know the sequence, right? And this sequence all has to do with light, and the way light is hitting your body, and the way light is hitting the earth, and the way light is heating the ionosphere. What's happening here is a huge advantage, because your DNA is now going to be activated by you. Check this out. In the summer, it was being activated by the sun. You were getting heated up. The fall, you were using your battery because the sun's energy was stored in your solar plexus for the fall, just like in trees. When the solstice happens, now it's all up to you to use yourself, because you're in the darkness. You're in the dark place. You're in the shadow. Listen, almost every phone call I got today, people were sad. People were feeling sick. They suddenly came out with sniffles. People just were crying. A couple people just called crying and trying to hold back the tears. And what's happening? I don't know. I don't know what's wrong. Did anything happen? No, nothing happened. Some folks know some stuff happened, but sometimes you don't know what happened. What happened was you died on the cross. Your old self is dying. Now, when you try to hold the tears back, oh, I don't want to cry. Some people are so powerful. They're so strong. Tears can begin to come down. You ever have this happen, man? Tears start coming down and your ego is so strong, you can suck them suckers back up into your eyeball. Man, this is some power.
Mhm.
If you can suck your tears back, I've done it. If you can, this is pretty powerful here. You could do almost anything if you could do that. But when your ego is involved, I don't want to cry. It's not good to cry. Why is it not good to cry? Because somebody told you that you can't let off that vapor and that energy. Because in those tears is dendrites. Dendrites are the breaking off of the little branches on the ends of your nerves that are connected to the tissue that has to be broken off. The tissue that has your issues in it, because your tissues are holding on to your issues mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. So that stuff's got to break off. So when you cry and you let it out, or you scream, you know what I'm saying? And you let stuff go, you release it. It vaporizes, the top pops off. And when the top pops off, now your genes begin to reset themselves. And they say, hey, what's the program? What we about to do? Well, the first thing you got to do is let all this stuff go. You fall out. If you feel like you're about to fall out, fall out. What are you holding on to? I can't. You know what I'm saying? I'm conscious and I'm woke. We don't cry. We're mad. Well, guess what? That's the program again. Since you're conscious and you're angry and you're mad all the time and you're a victim, then guess what? This is the program that you're telling your genes to activate, because your genes are going to listen to you. And since you're at war, right, and you must like war because you're the boss, you're the captain of your vessel, you're telling your body to be at war. So it does, because, you're mad because you watch the news. The news is crazy right now. Please, if you turn on the news, it's crazy. In between the Christmas commercials and the jingling of the bells, the songs and everything, the colors and the lights are on purpose to cause you, colors and blinking lights and all these things. And you're supposed to be joyful sometimes. And this is the happiest time of the year. You know what I'm saying? All these things that you have no idea the alchemy that is going on right now unless you get down to the deep stuff. But you got to get rid of yourself. The genes, your DNA, is activated. You ready for this?
Yes, sir.
When you activate it.
Doc, is this where they get the New Year's resolution from? Is this why? Because it's tied in with this?
We ain't got there yet.
Mm.
We ain't got there yet. We right now at the solstice. So you got to stop like the sun. You got to take a break. The sun stopped. You need to stop too. I was watching the squirrels today. They would walk. And usually they're moving. The squirrels would walk and stop. And it was like a bunch of them, and they all would stop. And they just kept walking and stopping. Big hawk flies, and outside my window, there's a big tree. The hawk just stops and just looking around. The hawk looks right over at me. I'm looking at the hawk. The hawk is looking at me. It seemed like everything was stopping and moving in slow motion because the animals are tapped into this shift that's happening. If you go outside tonight, you will see Sirius in the evening. Sirius is blinking right now for you because Sirius is aligning. It's not totally aligned, but it's aligning itself with the Earth and the sun, which means there's a charge, there's a wave of energy that shoots in between, because this time the Earth is going to be right in between Sirius and the sun, which means the waves and the energy coming from Sirius, our mother sun, is going to shoot through the Earth. It superheats the elements of the planet. And then that energy, what's left, goes around and hits the sun. And that energy is sent back through the earth, back through the sun. Well, you're a part of the earth, so every part of us is being what? Shifted. There's a huge shift happening right now. It's happening in everyone. But because we're so busy, we got so much hustle going on. We're doing so many things, and we got to rush out to buy things. And the traffic. I mean, I tried to go out yesterday. I said, I can't do it. I can't do it. The guy next to me in the car had a whole a reindeer suit on. I'm telling you, man, this was weird. This cat had this reindeer suit, and he had the whole reindeer suit, and he's trying to drive. So he can't look because the suit, he's got this suit on in the car. He's got Christmas trees on top of the house. And in the Bible, it say don't have no tree in the house. But no, people don't even read this stuff. Why do you have a dead pine tree, which is like, this is like a bomb waiting to happen, because the pine, right, has the pine oil, which is what they make turpentine from, is fuel. It's in the house, getting dry. You got lights on it because people don't know where the symbology comes from. We're going to get into the symbology and why this whole sequence begins to happen and what it means from the 21st, which is today, onto this special date, which is the true Christmas, when you actually become a brand new being. But the vibration starts now. So right now, what can you do? You can realize that there's stuff coming up. Let it come up. Let it come up. Some folks are fasting. Go ahead and fast. I don't know if I do a pure water fast right now, unless you're ready for that, because this stuff starts coming out fast and some folks could snap. You see, if you can do that, that's okay. But realize you got to get down in that dark stuff, in the muck. And in that muck is where your stuff is at. The dark place is not disagreeable. It's not the bad place where evil is at. The dark place is where everything is at. Light comes from darkness. Light comes from darkness. So when we're at this particular point, this shift happens in all of us. And before we can choose, and this is very important, before we can choose what we desire, we have to first take out the trash. So folks right now are getting their parasite cleanses. They're detoxifying their body, all the organs. A systemic cleanse is important because you can't just clean out your colon. What about what's in your liver, your kidneys, your spleen, your thyroid, your thalamus, your hypothalamus, your pituitary? What about all those glands? Because they're all computer networks which have been out of sync, because you've picked up everything in the environment, including, 5G, 3G, 2G, radiation, all kinds of different things that are in the environment that your body can shift and deal with. Your body can deal with 5G. Obviously, we're not dead. But what it has to do this, right? It has to protect its genes with something. So this is why antioxidants are very important, because antioxidants are like putting a shield in front of your genes and your cells. So you got certain foods that are high in antioxidants, like vitamin C, like quercetin, which is the skins of certain fruits and certain vegetables, and things like the skins of onions and the skins of garlic. Those are sulfur-based plants. That sulfur is very important, because sulfur will kill the devil. You see in those movies, they always put sulfur out and they got garlic around the window, and you know what I'm saying? To keep the evil out, because sulfur is what your body can use to protect itself. These certain things that are antioxidant are putting a shell or a coating around your cells. So while this time is happening, you're taking your herbs religiously, or I should say, ceremoniously. You're drinking your water. You're finding more quiet time. If you have the chance, do not go out. You're in the mall. You're in the store shopping. Why? Because somebody rung the bell like Pavlov's dog, and they said it was time to buy and it's time to eat. And when you go in the mall, they got a smell. It's called the Christmas smell. It's cinnamon essential oil. They put this in the air conditioning. The cinnamon says, I'm hungry. And since I'm hungry, I want to consume, and I want others to consume. So I'll become a consumer and buy. The next smell they have, which is the Christmas smell, is bayberry. Bayberry says, guess what? I'm willing to give everything away. I'm willing to give it all away because I can get more. Bayberry is telling you to give it all away because I can get more. See, this is all, social conditioning. This is crowd control when you walk in the mall. You see? So the Christmas smells are telling you certain things, like pine is the other one they use, pine essential oil. Pine says, I'm clean, I'm holy, I'm good. And if you're religious, right, then you're supposed to give it all away. Just give it all away. You're not supposed to keep anything, because if you have too much, that's evil, because money is evil and the rich people are evil. This is the mindset. So they make this smell that they put on these pads in the air conditioning of the mall. I used to know a lady, her job was to do this in the mall. So you're being triggered by the bells. Ding, 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 ding. Do you have any idea what those tones and frequencies are doing? Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Let's go. Let's go where? You need to be quiet. You need to sit your ass down. You need to let go of some of this mess, but you're hurrying up to get nowhere. To get what? To get people some gifts. Because if you don't, it's going to be funny. You didn't bring me no gift. You ain't coming to the Christmas meal. We having all your favorite foods that you grew up with. And half the food that you about to eat right now, you can't even digest it sometime next year. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's something about the season that is reversed when you're supposed to be the seasoning. The season isn't supposed to come upon you. You're supposed to be the seasoning. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you are letting go of trash. And sometimes you can't do this if you're too close to people, family and friends, and you're out drinking. They got Christmas parties going on today. I mean, I need you to stop and think about this for a minute. This is one of the holy days. This is a very sacred day. When you get a chance to shift into the next season on an angle that's going to help you manifest your goals. But guess what? There's a Christmas party. There's a company Christmas party. Everyone's going to be there. I know you're coming, Marianne, right? You done changed your name to Sister Isis, but at the job, you still Marianne Jenkins. They going to call you your government name. Hi, you're coming, right, Marianne?
So
you're there. You're there. And you agreed to be Marianne for them because you need to get that paycheck. And the real paycheck is your own booty. We'll tap into that on the 7th, how to become the booty. So they got you at the party. You don't drink anymore. So they said, well, don't worry. It's just a little champagne. This is such and such a circa 1947. They got the bottle. They pop that sucker. It fizzes off. Now you say you're not going to drink, but you need to drink at the party to be a part of the crew because the spirits are going to take you over. That's why they call the liquor spirits. Something is going to take over. But guess what? There could be something good in the Doctah if you knew how to program it. So you could take the drink, but you better be bad. You better hold that drink in your right hand, and you better know your affirmation. You better know your law. You better know who you are. You better know you're the captain, because what's in this bottle is going to take on the vibration of what's in the room. Because just like your genes, that liquid takes on the vibration of what's in the room. So you wrap your hand around your drink if you got to drink it, and you program it with a quick statement. It's called a language syntax. It's a small group of words that actually encodes whatever you're holding in your right hand. We're going to tell you how to do that on the 7th too.
Powerful.
But what happens is when you take the drink, And you eat the little Christmas cookie because you're a vegan. It only has sugar in it. But even though people don't know that processed sugar has pork and meat and bone black and the bones from dead chickens, pigs, and cows and whatever else. So you're not a vegan anymore. But you go along with it because the crowd, they get you pumped up. See, this is that peer pressure. So you're at the party because you want to be accepted. You want to get the raise. And, if you don't come to the party, you may not be getting you. They may feel you're an outsider, so you may not get that new position. So what we're saying is that there are things in this season that you think you're celebrating, but what you need to be doing is vibrating yourselves with the program that you desire. But first, you got to clean the slate. You got to scream, holler, take the trash out, clean out your home, clean out your environment, wash your dirty dishes, wash your dirty laundry, and don't be worrying about somebody else's dirty laundry. Because you got dirty laundry and ideas in your head that have been programmed in you by the enemy. You want to call out the enemy, right? What's happening? You don't realize you're calling out the enemy, and the enemy needs you to call them out to make it what? Public. They gave you the program. Somebody said, well, the devil, the devil's going to be afraid. No, the devil wants you to know what he can do. The devil is your subconscious self. So what happens here is you've got to make some real choices. And at this time, sit your ass down and mind your business and clean up your stuff. Take some time away from everybody except you with some close people. Some of these phone calls you don't need to be answering. Some of these posts you don't need to be seeing because you're going to get posted up at a time that is the most sacred time of the year. And what's about to happen at this particular season, and the season is longer than you think, by the way. The dates they gave you of the season is way off. Once the sun dies on the cross and the old you dies with it, and you begin to rise on the 25th, your new you got 3 days. 3 days you cleaning up the shop, letting go of things. On the 25th, you become what? New. And you start working on what you desire. Because this date that's coming up that we're going to talk about on the 7th is the date when you can begin to manifest everything. But guess what? No one told you. Well, I shouldn't say that because there's a few of who actually know this sacred date. And it's not one date that stays the same every year. It changes. Every year, this date changes. So somebody called me and said, well, Dr. B, I know the date. Every year, it's blah, 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 blah. No. It's a date that changes, and there's a formula, a scientific, ancient formula of when you become, right? The genie, the generator. You become the captain. You begin to activate, right? Now, check this out. This is very important. We hear about gene activation, right?
Yes.
And you keep hearing about downloads.
Downloads.
Oh, man, we get downloads. I got a download. I'm going to tell you what's heavier than the download is your upload.
Uh-oh.
You waiting
for the down.
It just to happen. See, it's a day, and it's just going to happen. It's download. I'm getting downloads.
You need to focus
Do you know
on
anything about uploads? Upload is what you're sending out. Because just like the eye, it was proven that the eye is not taking in information. The eye sends out a beam, right? That beam that comes from the eye looks for things that it's familiar with and collects it back based on what it is vibrating on. Because just like when they say that the indigenous people stood on the shore, they didn't see those people, the pilgrims coming to peel their wigs, to get peeled. They didn't see the colonizers. They couldn't recognize them because they never seen nothing like that. And sometimes if you don't see something, you don't recognize it. You can't recognize it because you never saw it before. So as they looked out on the ocean, all they saw was some kind of foggy information in this energy, and they didn't know. So by the time they saw what was happening, drama. So sometimes you can't see because the beam that's coming out of your eyes is looking for more of what you've been used to. You get more of what you've been looking for, more of what you've been funking for. So what we're saying is that when you begin to upload the information of what you truly desire by sending out information into the waves, into the quantum field, when you do that clearly and focus without, no matter what anybody else is saying or doing, that's how you get a download. Some of the stuff you're getting, you sent out based on fear. You were hoping that something bad didn't happen. Well, guess what? Bad began to happen. You already had fear and anger programmed into you since a child. It's going to be a struggle. You got more. Most of us have more of a language of struggle than we have of love and joy and peace and harmony, because we were taught that. So it doesn't matter where it came from. We're saying that right now we have the chance to shift this. Are you ready to really do it? Because you're going to have to let go of some of your ego. Because your ego is holding on to a bunch of stuff from the past, when today, the 21st of what's today's date? 21st of what month is this? December, which is a 10, by the way. Deci is a 10. We won't get into that. But what's happening today, it's a new day. It's a new vibration. You get to reprogram and code your DNA with first nothing. What do I need to be doing? Right now, you don't need to do nothing. Get quiet. Sit your ass down. Get quiet. And don't turn on the news. This is some of the worst news you ever heard on, right? The news now, even the news people don't believe it. You can look in their eyes and tell they know they're reading the script. Hey, come on, man. Half this stuff ain't even possible. You don't know what's going on in Compton. How you know what's going on in Ukraine and their crane and my crane and his this, and what the president of such and such is thinking, and what the politics of blah, blah, blah might be. You don't know what's going on right now in Atlanta, in Oak City. You don't know what's happening in the south side of Chicago. You don't know what's happening tonight in Brooklyn. But you're going to tell me all this deep stuff that you know, but you get caught up in the belief of the news, and the news is the noose that's going to hang you. So cut the news off and stop hanging yourself with those stories. Get into the story that you would like to create. Are you ready to do this? It's going to take being strong and strengthful. Strengthful, is that a new word? You can't be at the party. But you got to take apart, yourself. That's the party. What part of you needs to go? Now you begin to activate your DNA. What they call junk DNA was the part that was the user area. The user area is an area that can be programmed by you. How do you do it? Your thoughts, your words, your actions, your character. That's what programs your genes. So to just have genes be activated, they could be activated by drama. Because you know how we get when drama happens. Somebody call you that's close to you with some drama, you start sweating too. You getting upset. You know what I'm saying? They screaming and hollering. Your blood pressure's going up. That's my homie. That's my sister. That's my brother. You don't even have the facts yet. Because you're not able to be calm and have emotional intelligence and just breathe and ask a few more questions. We ready to march over there. We got the pitchfork, the 9mm, the 12mm. We got, knives, and we're ready to go fight. Because why would my loved one lie? Because your loved one, right, may not understand love. Really good book is what is it called? I can't even think of the name of it right now. What's it called? Love. By Luis Miguel Ruiz. The Mastery of Love. Take a little more focus so I can stay focused, because I get wild,
That's the guy who wrote the 4 Agreements, right?
Yes, The Mastery of Love. And it breaks down real love. So basically, let's put it like this. this solstice is a chance for you to take a pause and take 3 to 4 days of attempting to be as quiet, as neutral as possible. Drink good water, spring water, maybe put a little salt in it, a little sea salt. And I'm not saying you can't eat, but you don't want to eat things that's going to cause your digestive tract to go through stress and struggle or resistance. You see, so eat as clean as possible. And on the 25th, you're going to begin to work on what it is you desire. So you make a list. So when you come to the class on the 7th, you will have a list of what it is that you desire already. So you might write 9 things on the paper. And we're going to work on helping you come up with how to manifest those by writing a manifest. You gotta have a manifesto.
Manifesto. That's dope.
If you don't have a manifesto,
that's dope.
Then guess what happens? The boat just floats and you just going with the current. Everybody's mad in your group, so you mad too. You can't even think, neutrally because everybody's mad. So you're supposed to be mad, or you're upset, or you're happy. People are too happy, and happy is a happening. I am saying that we have a chance to change everything moving into 2023. 2023 is a 7. The reason why we're having this on the 7th, and the reason why it's a 7 year, is because you get to generate. That G is about generation. It's about generational wealth. Brother Billy Carson is, he's going to break this thing about wealth and how to create your own bank. We're talking about the bank of who? You need to be the bank of you. You see? We keep asking this system to help us. We talk about reparations. We got to work on allowing ourselves to accept cosmic reparations. Because guess what? 2023 is the year of cosmic reparations. They didn't tell you this. Nobody told you about that.
I like the sound of that. The year of cosmic.
You're going to get what you've been asking for. What you're asking for is what you're ruminating on, what's running through your head.
Yeah.
And what's in your heart, what's in your gut. So just being a vegan is not enough, and just doing yoga and taking herbs and, oh boy, you walk in nature. You're going to have to pull it all together by first figuring out what part of you is actually junk. Now, let me tell you about junk DNA. They called all that DNA the 98% junk DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Check this out. That DNA got programmed with your junk. Your junk. Junk ideas, junk feelings, junk thoughts. No matter where they came from, it was hand-me-down. Some of that stuff somebody threw away. Your parents gave you some junk sometimes. They didn't know. They thought it was great. Some of those limericks and stories and those little, the whole thing about the fairy coming to get your tooth, coming through the window. It's a lot of stuff that you got, which was based in some type of old sacred science, but it was given to you in a way which actually was weakening you and breaking you down so you could be a slave on the plantation. So now a lot of people are mental, physical slaves, and they're going through what they call nutritional suicide, eating themselves to death. Mm-hmm. You see, mental suicide, killing yourself to death. Killing yourself to death. That's a good one. Killing yourself to death, because you could be alive and still be dead. We're saying let's all rise together. Not me, not you, we. So we're going into a we vibration. But first, you got to get rid of me. Me, what I want, what I think, what I need to do, what I'm trying to do. I got to get there first. If we all don't get there, then nobody gets there. We all have to help each other. So this offering that we're giving on this particular date, the 7th, it's all set up cosmologically. It's set up numerological. This date is chosen, and it was not chosen necessarily by us.
It's facts.
Even today, why are we, I asked Brother Rich, I said, Brother Rich, do you know what today is? You like to do a show? He said, yeah, we're doing a show tonight. I was like, this is the solstice. He was like, oh, wow. I said, so you keep doing this almost every day or the week that Brother Rich has me on, something deep is happening in the cosmos. What's going on, Brother Rich? Where you getting this stuff from? It's deep down in his cosmic ancient DNA. You see, a lot of us, we are suppressing our ancestral gifts. The suppression of ancestral gifts is deep because your ancestors had certain powers they gave you. But you didn't know how to unfold it and uncode it because they didn't give you the code. They didn't give you the sequence. And you might say, well, I'm mad they didn't do it. Well, they didn't know it. They was out toiling in the fields. They was out working hard. They was doing whatever they had to do to survive. They're coming out of a time when it was really rough for certain folks in America. So it is your responsibility to figure out the code and use it. So we're going to make this much easier for all of us. We're going to give out the code. The 9 or 10 hours that this workshop is going to be, there will be no excuses. Because when the three of us are on the phone, when Brother Richard on the phone, right? And Brother Billy and myself, the conversation, it's like the traffic stops. I don't hear birds. I don't hear, you ever notice that, man? When we start talking and we talk, it's like each person is like, we're all like really in awe and respect of each other because we all have a special piece. And it's like, Brother Rich is like the captain of the ship. He's like, come on, let's ride. Bring your ships. We took all of our boats, right, and tied our boats up with his. Now we got an aircraft carrier. Our excuse has been in the past, what we didn't get or what was done to us and our trauma, and we've been bonded by trauma, and the trauma is the big word today. I am saying that we now can break the spells if you know the code. On the 7th, you will have no excuse not to know the code, to become codified and become what? The minder of your business. The reminder, how to remind yourself how to no longer repress, suppress, and depress the knowledge that's already in your cellular structure. In that 2% is what? Your ancestral gifts. They're in you. They're not, the ancestors are in you. But most of us, we're actually listening to the ancestors. That's that automatic negative thoughts. It's automatic. Are they going to stop me? They're not going to stop you if they don't see you. You don't know how to cloak yourself. You're going to learn how to cloak yourself. And you're going to learn how to tap into that stuff that's deep in there already. But it starts today by you cleaning out your closet. And tomorrow, clean out your closet. Let go of some stuff. Let go of everything that is no longer desirable. And guess what? You're going to cry a little bit because some of this stuff you're going to feel emotional about. You got an old teddy bear since you was a child. You still got the teddy bear? So the average adult lives life as an adult based on the conclusions, ideas, and thoughts of a child. So we can't grow because we're still stuck in childhood. And a lot of us had challenging childhoods. I know very wealthy people who had everything as a child, and they're challenged because they wanted to be normal and regular. And they were this money and this access and being able to just go and buy everything has messed them up too. So we all have challenges. So to activate this new DNA that's coming online because of the position that we're in at this particular time, going into 2023, the Earth, the Sun, Sirius, our solar system, our universe is in a position it has never been in before. My teachers, right, and there's been a lot of them, have been talking about this event and how I would be at a special place and a part of the pivotal shift of this time. I had no idea what they're talking about.
Mm.
It's always a little too deep for me. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, come on, man. Y'all, I don't know what y'all, it's too many limericks and jokes. And you know what I'm saying? They be having these words that they say, and you got to sit up trying to figure out what they mean because it's codified.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But when you called me, brother,
Mm-hmm.
when you called me, Brother Rich, and you said some magic words, and you mentioned the event on the 7th, the lights came on. And then you said the name, Blueprint for God Power. I said, oh, this brother's on some stuff.
You was excited right away, man. You was
I couldn't even talk for a minute. You know, I used to be having some talk. I was like,
you was excited.
no breath, no words. It was like mystical, no words. No. Then he got Billy on the line. And because who would have thought to put these pieces together like this? It's like this is you're spearheading things in such a way. It's beautiful to see you flow. It's beautiful to see what you're doing. And I'm grateful to be here to be a servant and be a channel because most of what's coming through Dr. B Sirius is not Dr. B Sirius's information.
Facts.
This is jazz, man. This is coming through me. It's a flow. I'm in a flow state. I don't know. I've had to actually prepare for this class. I've got to write some things down because I want to, my highest choice is not I want to cancel, cut, delete, and clear. I'm going to give out things in such a clear sequence that there will be no excuse. The revolution will not be televised. It will be online on the 7th for everyone who is ready, willing, and able. When you are done with the 7th, you will have all the information you need to become a writer, to become a cosmic gangster, to be in alignment with the earth, the sun, Sirius, and the place that we're going, this new world. It's a beautiful thing. The golden age is here, but you got to realize that you're 3 feet from the goal, but you don't have the right pickaxe. You need the right tools. You see, and you got to know if you're looking for gold, first thing you got to do is look for malachite. When they are digging for gold, they find malachite. When they find a vein of malachite, they know they're close to gold. They just don't look for gold, just start digging. They look for malachite. You see some malachite? Whoa, it's some gold nearby.
That's deep. I didn't know that. It's deep.
You see? So there are things that, are happening. And it's not even deep. It's actually shallow. It's been right in front of us all the time. But so many things were thrown in the road. So many challenges were thrown in the road. Why? Because only the best, right, are going to get through the obstacle course. Only the best. Only the best are going to be online. If you get online, if you get a ticket, if you can get a ticket. Because some folks want to wait till the last minute. If you can get a ticket, you'll have the whole thing. And it may take time for you to work it out. But you'll have a lot of the pieces. And those pieces will come together. And you will no longer be looking for peace. You will become whole. And wholeness is what we desire, not peace. Wholeness. Did you ask me some questions?
I brought up the New Year's resolution. Was that tied into the uploading? We have this thing where we give these New Year's resolutions January 1st. Is that in alignment with us giving these uploads to the quantum field to get the downloads later on during the year?
You can't have a resolution until you burn off all the things that you don't desire. To resolve is to work things out. So they talk about having a New Year's resolution. You don't wait till the new year to figure out what you're going to do in the new year. You got to already be aimed, right? Ready to fire into the new year. So people have these resolutions that don't work because you're going against nature. It doesn't even make any sense. You sat there and counted down, which was crazy. You counted down 5, 4, 3, 2, and the crystal ball dropped. And your mind, right? Neuro-linguistic programming, you were hypnotized to watch the crystal ball drop, which is regressing you. So when you regress, you can't resolve anything because you're living in the past. It's all about the past. And then what? New Year's Day, what do they play? All the shows and stuff about what had happened, like you weren't here. They need to tell you again what happened, how bad it was. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Who died? Who lived? Who blah, blah, blah. They're celebrating the past instead of celebrating this new moment because the whole thing is about reduction, reducing you to being a slave, reducing you to being a sheep. You see what I'm saying? Not being the farmer. So all we got to do right now is focus on what we deserve. Get the word resolution out your mind because we don't even know what that means. That's alchemy. And the first step of alchemy is what? Calcination, where you got to heat things up and divide the metals and decide, well, what is malachite? What is gold? This is zinc. You see what I'm saying? This over here, all these different metals, if you look at the periodic table, they're all present. You've got to figure out which ones. So when you are sure, you don't need a resolution because you have now encoded your DNA, and your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are focused on the win. Not how. That's none of your business because a resolution is too hard. That's why by the time February comes, people gain more weight. They're drinking more than they ever drank, smoking more cigarettes, chewing the nails. But they had a resolution, but they were drunk. They were drunk because you killed your liver throughout the holidays. One shot of liquor shuts down your liver for what? 48 hours. 48 hours. One shot of liquor. One shot.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something else. One mouthful of vegetables and another mouthful of fruit does the same thing. A mouthful of or mouthful of animal product or gluten and a mouthful of fruit turns into alcohol. Shut your liver down. Your liver that's supposed to be keeping you. That's the liver. The liver is like controlling most of the functions of your life. The liver is processing everything. It's like a chemical factory. But you just shut it down. The liver is the alchemist of the body. It can take certain chemicals and certain metals and change them and transmute them and use them as fuel, or actually take them and break them down and turn them into vapor or get rid of them totally through the colon. But it's the alcohol, it's the drunk nature, right? It's the drinking of bullshit. It's the drinking of lies. It's the drinking of all this stuff and these beliefs and these fairy tales, right? It's the drinking of the days, and you're walking around dazing of the week, right? Waiting till Friday so you can get cooked, right? At the weekend, and you're at the weekend of this thing waiting for what? To be saved, waiting to hit the lottery. I am saying you are the lottery. If you've been playing the lottery for 10 years, you actually won. If you take all the money, right, that you put in the lottery and put aside and learn how to create your own bank. Like Billy's talking about, creating a life insurance policy that pays you while you're alive. He's talking about taking your home, your equity in your home, and creating a bank and getting a line of credit. And getting with other groups of people who you may not have a home. You may not have this policy, but somebody else does. And when we become family, when we become a village together, guess what? We can share. You can come to me and say, well, Doc, look what I'm attempting to do. And we can share in the profits of the whole thing once we begin to trust again. But in order to trust again, we got to stop lying. We got to stop bullshitting. We got to stop pointing the finger. We got to stop getting our feelings hurt because somebody pointed at us and said something, called us a name. So we got to get out of all these things that have been given to us that we think are great. And it's going to help us. Most of this stuff is not going to help you. Even your ancestors and studying old stuff ain't going to help you today because guess what? They're not here. It's you. They're in you. So what? The size of the pyramid and it has the same dimensions of the earth. That's great. That's good knowledge to know. Study it. But we also got to know the dimensions of your mind, the dimensions of your heart, the dimensions of your feelings, the dimensions of your knowledge and the flow that you were naturally given from the Most High, from the universal God. And the universal God has been waving at you every single day. It's been sending you waves of knowledge and light and energy. She's been waving at you. And then what happens when she waves at you? Do you wave back? Do you know how to wave back? Do you know how to do what's called wave casting and cast your wave back to the center? Because she's been giving you all this stuff, but we have forgotten how to truly celebrate. We celebrate when they tell us to celebrate. They ring the bell. Oh boy, it's this holiday, and everyone should do this and get a Hallmark card. They made even your words, and you read it, signed your name to it like it's you. You see what I'm saying? You marked off. Use a mark in the hall. That's not your real information. Because we've been waiting for somebody to tell us how to vibrate ourselves. They tell you how to feel about things. They point to a star or an artist and tell you a new song comes out. They tell you you should like it. You got to like this song. That's what ain't that dope. That's dope, ain't it? No, it ain't dope. But you got to say yes because that's your homie. They, you want to still be homies. So you go along with the bullshit. I am saying you got to become self-sufficient within yourself for a second. Find yourself. You're in there. She's down in there. That child, he is still on the swings, still on the playground. But you had to grow up and get grown all of a sudden. I'm grown now. No, you ain't grown. The average adult lives life as an adult based on the conclusions of a child. And the average person is lost. Lost and turned out. You're going to call somebody else a prostitute or somebody is selling themselves, they're selling their bodies. Well, you up at work every day. What you think you're doing? You got to look a certain way and act a certain way. You're selling yourself too. So stop talking about somebody else that's selling their body and what they may be doing that you don't go along with. I don't really like what they doing. Their job ain't honest. Your job might not be honest too. Some of them corporations are so dishonest that you work for. I work for IBM. Do you know what these people is involved in? I work for the medical industry. Do you know the history of modern medicine? When you begin to do the research on that stuff, you begin to realize that let me stop judging. And let's work on what? Coming together in oneness, coming together with people of like minds and sharing and being real. But today, for the next 3 days, let's just let go of some stuff. You had a question?
No, yeah, I do. First of all, I want to say, man, you've been on absolute fire this show. My brother, it's a pleasure to sit here and just absorb the information that you are channeling from the cosmos. I'm definitely appreciative for that, my brother. Secondly, I want to give a shout out, love and light to the brother, the elder, Dick Gregory. I feel his energy when you talking tonight. I can feel him working through you. I can feel his energy through you tonight. So I want to give a big shout out to Dick Gregory. Yeah, he's right there. I feel him through you. I don't hear him in you. I feel him through you tonight. So yeah, big shout out to that brother as well. And also, I want to ask you this. We're not going to be too long, family. I'm gonna ask this one question. Then I'm gonna take a couple of questions if y'all got questions about the workshop. But other than that, we're gonna wrap it up. Doc, you talk now. This is, from, I guess I'm coming from a musician perspective, and you talk about flow. Artists are very aware of flow state. You get in a flow, and it's like time just goes by, and you don't know what happened. I'm a little confused when they say you have to be present. You have to be in the now. It's hard to be in the now and in the present when you're in a flow state because you're possessed and it's like you're not even there. So how can you be in the present and be aware of your surroundings when I'm in the flow? I'm not there. Something takes over, Brother Rich. And when it's gone, I'm like, oh shit, I said that, yo. I asked that question. I made that song. I made that beat. I'm there. How can in the now if I'm not even there, Doc? Please answer me that.
Brother, I love you. I want you to know that.
Love.
You have asked the question that I have been waiting to be asked.
Wow.
For 40 years.
Wow, that's wow.
No one has ever asked this one question. How do you be in the present but be nowhere?
Mm.
It's because if you're in the present, you are nowhere. If you have to think and figure things out, you're in the past. You're being intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
You're basing your movements and everything based on what has already happened. So the most intelligent people on the planet are studying and they're wise about what happened in the past. They're historians.
Mm-hmm.
That's your most intelligent people.
Mm-hmm.
Now, me, I'm not very intelligent. I am in the moment of creation in this spot and I'm open. I don't know what's going to happen.
Deep.
I was sitting today saying, God, Brother Rich said he's going to talk about this subject. Now, what am I going to do? And I kind of fell into a little sleep sitting on the couch. I woke up. I said, man, I don't know. But where am I thinking? Because it's like 2, 3 of me inside talking.
Mm-hmm.
Just get on and go. Because when you're in the present, that is the gift of nothing. That is the gift of being in an open space. It's like an open chalkboard.
Right.
That is where the flow is happening, and you're not thinking and trying to put things in place in the present. You're not trying to be in the present. You're being in the present. You're being in the present, and in the present, there's only one thing: intuition. Your heart comes online and your gut comes online. Your brain begins to shut down because that damn thing will get you in trouble.
Yes, sir.
That brain and that mind and all that stuff has got legs. It can take you everywhere. But the heart has got eyes. It can see what's really happening only right now because what's happening now has never happened. You and I being here together in this particular moment, even in the moment I just mentioned, is already gone. It's to the past. Moments are only momentary things, but that's where everything is at. So in the moment, you're not thinking and trying to be anything. It's happening. So last night, I got this idea. I got this song I'm working on. It's actually going to be a surprise for you, brother. I'm working on this new song. And I got these parts I'm playing, right? And then I was starting to get tired. So, I got to go to bed. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. Let me go get some rest. And all of a sudden, my hand hit the keyboard and boom, bap. Booby-doo, bap. Woo, what was that? I put my hand back on the keyboard. Booby-doo, bap.
That's how it happened.
Booby-doo, bap. Bap-be-doo-be-doo-be-doo-be-doo, bap. Bap-be-doo, boom, boom, boopy-doo, bap. Woo! Boop-boop-boop-boop-boop, bap. Then the beat started coming. Boom. Boom. And I was like, whoa, what's happening? Then I turned off the computer, shut everything down, went and got in the bed. Had wild dreams. I got up today. I went down to the computer. And I turned everything on. And I heard this. I was like, what the heck is this? Oh, this shit is crazy. What is this? I said, well, I was in a dream state. Because in that dream state, that's when you're in the theta state. The theta state, which is the eta, which is the acha, is in between worlds. It's in between sleeping and awake. When your brain is in the theta state, you're not quite awake, you're not quite asleep. You're not quite here, you're not quite there. You're not quite white, you're not quite black. You see what I'm saying? You're in the id. The id is the idiot.
You talked about that, yeah.
That's when you are at your basic self and you're receiving programs that have only happened now, and they only happen once. That bass line that I was working on, I'd never played that before. I didn't think about how the bass was going to sound and whether it needs to be R&B, should it be jazz? If I do this, is it going to be hip hop? Will it be accepted? You know what I'm saying? Will my old friends like it? It was just happening. And once you get out of your head like that, you're in this place of nowhere, no thing, no one thing. And this has got to be actually taught because we've been taught to think all the time. Most folks can't stop thinking.
It's true.
And they think they're in control of their thoughts until I say, let's not think. try not to think for 7 seconds or 7 minutes. They can't do it. Oh, how you going to, now they're thinking of how not to think because you're so programmed to try to be in control and to try to be in control of something that's in a flow. The only thing you're supposed to do is guide the ship. I used to come to Dick Gregory and I got issues, man. I said, Dick, man, I'm going on and on and I'm half crying and everything. And he let me cry a little bit. And then he would say, this was the deepest thing he ever said to me. I'm sitting there, we're on a curb in South Central, right? We in the hood. I don't even know why I'm here and how he got here. No security, no, what's happening? We're sitting on the curb. I'm very sad about some things that are happening in my life. And Dick Gregory's just, he don't touch me. He don't hand me no napkins or nothing. He says, row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. And he looks at me and says, life is but a dream. And he got up and walked away. I don't even know where he went because I didn't see him for 3 months after that. That's the only thing he said. He didn't get all deep and do a lecture. He just said, and I started listening to it. Row, row, row. Whose boat? Your boat. Gently down the stream. See, if you try to go upstream, which is what most of us are doing in our lives, we're rowing the boat upstream. You got big muscles, you strong, you all, you know what I'm saying, on the internet, showing your muscles and you got your bikini on, you all fine, showing that you got huge buttocks and all this, and your breast is gigantic and your skin is tight. You're sitting there eating watermelon. But guess what? You may be rowing upstream because you think you're fine, but you're not refined because when you're refined, you let the boat flow with the current and gently, gently, gently down the natural stream of life. That's called the flow state. Merrily, huh? What does merrily happen? Merry has to do with water. M-E-R, water. M-A-R, water. Merrily, that means floating naturally with the natural ripples of the water. Life is but a dream. We think this is it, don't we? Oh man, this is it. And y'all know when you go to bed at dream time, sometimes that stuff is more real than this. And one day you're gonna get it. That just like the people who live in Australia, they will tell you dream time is the real time. But you are caught up in this and you think this is it. But when you're in the dream, you think that's it. It's all a dream. It's what we make it. Life is what we make it. So to be in this moment, in this place, to be on this program, to be here right now is something we all chose to be. And like somebody said earlier, they said, we're already, the 7th is already here. Exactly. I'm glad you get
I seen that. That was good. Yeah, I seen that. Yeah.
It is not that date. It is everything leading up to this date from the beginning that you were manifest into this world. All the stuff is coming to a head. These things that are happening right now could never happen before. It couldn't ever happen. And it's not just happening with us, because it's happening all over the world. There's all kind of events happening in the month of January, which is not really what it is, but that's what we're calling it. And these events are going to continue till we get to the breaking point, the shift. And there's a shift coming up. That's going to be in the spring. We'll talk about that later. But until then, we're moving in a flow state going down that river. And that river is the natural flow. I'm very thankful for this platform, for this time. And I'm very thankful that my teachers said I could finally speak, because what I've been doing in the last almost, 10 years or so, I've been talking a little, but I wasn't able to give out certain information because in many, as an indigenous American, I'm part of a tribe. I'm the medicine man for a tribe. And, we take an oath. And that oath is that you cannot give out certain information until the right time. When I went and I became a doctor of metaphysics, right? There's an oath that we had to take, that we couldn't do certain things at certain times until there were certain alignments. You see what I'm saying? In all of my teachings with all my teachers, they all made us take an oath. So even though we've been seeking, right, this knowledge, it couldn't come out till now. So let's all be grateful and thankful that we're here now at this particular time. And I'm grateful, Brother Rich, that you're doing what you're doing. And your family, your mama, your daddy, I mean, they did wonderful work wherever they at and whoever they are. You growing up in New York on the corner with the keyboard and sell whatever you had to do, whatever Billy's been through, whatever all of us have been through, we're coming together, and all of us are coming together as a family. So it's not just about, Brother Billy and I speaking from the podium. What we're doing is we're lighting a fire. We're igniting something, and everybody in the event who uses information will go out and help others. We're setting a fire. At the same time, the people that you think that might be in opposition to this, they're not even expecting it, because they have no idea how we're using the knowledge that was given to us from our ancestors that has been traveling on star waves. This information has been traveling on stars, on the light from stars, and some of those stars are no longer here, but the light from those stars is here. So it's time to elevate. And during this time, a lot of people say, well, Dr. B, what we should be doing? Well, right now, I be doing a cleanse. So you can go to elevationtime.com. We've got the elevated total body program. So you can cleanse away those parasites. You know what I'm saying? I've got classes online. Those classes help you with your subconscious. There's a whole lot of classes. In fact, I took my 14 greatest classes. I took 14 of my greatest classes and put them all together in one bundle. We just put it online the other day. That you're going to be ready, because see, the things, we got to put those pieces together now. You see, even though we have all these different things, pulling them together where it's one central thing. I was at a meeting one day, and I was sitting around this table, all these important people, and I'm wondering why I'm even here. They always have me come to these meetings. They need Dr. B. Dr. B, can you come to this meeting? And I'm sitting here listening to all these people with their ties and their suits and the chalkboard, and they got the presentation on the board, and the graphics look good. And they asked me, well, Dr. B, what do you think about this thing that we're putting together? I asked them one question. I said, what is the point? What is the point of all this? And they said, what do you mean? I said, all things must come together in a point. What is the point? Why are we here? Is it this, you just want to make more money? What is it? Is it something to help the people? Or something to fill the pockets of the shareholders? What is the real point? Why are y'all here? In life, you got to figure out what is your point. What is the point you're attempting to make? Where would you like two lines to come together? See, the top of the pyramid, right, it had a point. The large pyramid, Khufu, right, they took the point off. They took the tip off. They took the capstone. So you couldn't get the point. They even took the coating, the covering of the pyramids off. So you wouldn't know that it was a white pyramid with a black top, with a black dot. So now we don't know, because we don't know what the point is. So you now, even though you have all this information, what is the point? What is the purpose? What are we going to do with it? What we're going to do is help others do the same. And we're going to create a new community and a new world. And there's going to be, we're going to be doing workshops, classes, and retreats. From this, a lot is going to be built. People have been, emailing me from all over the world saying, how can I help? What can we do? One guy says he's in the steel. Do you need a steel worker? He knows all about the temperatures of metal and how to build this. He's a metallurgist. People are calling me saying, we got a garden. We are builders. We're working on buying a town. You got towns in America you could buy. We could buy a town right now that nobody even cares about. You're talking about growing weed. This thing is so far in the woods, nobody even cares if you grow some bush. You know what I'm saying? But we want to live in these cities. Why? Because that is struggle. And for a lot of us, that struggle is burning us out. So we're going to get out of struggle. And we're going to stop fighting with ourselves, because we're at war. The conscious mind and the subconscious mind are in a war. Another thing that I'm going to offer in the workshop is a group subconscious alignment. Clients would come to me and sit down for hours, and the price was pretty expansive to sit down and do a subconscious alignment with us because it took a lot of time and it took a lot out of me. Sometimes I do a subconscious alignment and I got to lay out for 3 days. So you got to take care of that too, so I can lay out for 3 days because it's so deep to deal with those energies and those entities and create entities and turn them into entities. That's alchemy. So I had to stop doing it because it had so much of a deep effect on me. But guess what? We're going to do a group subconscious alignment. Everybody in the class is going to get a subconscious alignment that's going to help take your conscious mind and your subconscious mind, possibly for the first time, and have them in alignment with reaching a destination that we call a point. When you have a point and a destination, when you know exactly what you're moving towards, not how, what is it that you desire? One thing. The next thing is, why do you desire it? What is the point? And by the way, when I was in that meeting, nobody could really break down what the point was. And it came down to greed. And people who usually in greed mode are what? They're in survival mode. That's why people are greedy, because they're in survival mode. You can't trust people who are greedy and in survival mode. You can't trust them because they'll throw you in the shade in a minute. Throw you some glass. You know what I'm saying? When you are in a mode which is higher than greed, where you are now, it's inspired action. You have aspirations. Now we got a point. And we got something we can point to. And we said, that's what this is about. So this day is about aspirations. It's about giving out the blueprint for the God power that's already in us, in our divinity code, deep inside us all. We have it. Just nobody showed us how to get to it. We've been 3 feet from gold all this time, 3 feet from platinum.
Amazing. Let me take anybody has a question about the workshop before we get out here. I mean, family. Woo! Dr. B dropped it on y'all tonight, on all of us, on the 21st, on the solstice. Man, any questions? Once again, just a reminder for anybody who just bought a ticket and may not be aware, the event starts at 11 a.m. So we got to fix that with all the flyers. It starts 11 a.m. January 7th. Dr. B is starting an hour earlier because he has that much information and he wants it to be that powerful and that, impactful to everybody who purchased a ticket. So we're starting at 11 a.m. sharp. It's going to be streamed from Forbidden Knowledge, the website. You don't have to be subscribed to the website to watch it. You just have to click on the purchase a ticket from Eventbrite. The link is there's no promo codes. There's no discount codes, no promo codes. You have to pay full price. I had some tickets that was donated by several people. I gave those out. Will you be able to ask questions? I'm sure toward the end they'll take some questions. So the link is at the top of the chat, family. Make sure you click on the link. And let's see what else y'all talking about. Yeah, like I said, there's no promo or discount codes. So you're gonna have to pay full price. I gave out some tickets that was donated, and those tickets are gone as of right now. Yes, somebody asked, do the workbooks or ebooks come with the price of admission? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Any more questions pertaining to the workshops? Dr. B, what's the website again for the detox?
Elevationtime.com, elevationtime.com. That's elevationtime.com. And I still have a few of these Dr. B Master Tonics. See, this is going to help to seal you up and protect you. That's the Dr. B Master Tonic Reserve. You see, I only made a certain amount. So if you'd like to get these, we still have a few at the website, elevationtime.com. And don't forget about iron. Without iron, you're not going to be able to hold on to this stuff because iron is what helps to carry oxygen and all the minerals to your cells. So a lot of folks, in America are, iron deficient. They're anemic. And when you're anemic, that means you don't have enough iron and your blood cells are not strong enough to carry enough oxygen for you to hold on to this stuff, past a couple weeks. Look, did you know that most people, check this out, most people become iron deficient in January. You know why?
Why?
During the winter, during the cold, right? Your body needs more iron to operate, to keep you warm. The hypothalamus is what regulates temperature. It has been attempting to keep you warm because it's a very interesting thing. You know, when it first gets cold, right? You can feel how cold it is. But then as a few weeks go on, all of a sudden you're not as cold, even though it's the same temperature on your thermostat. That's because your body is regulating. Your hypothalamus is sending a message to your pituitary. Your pituitary is sending a message to your thyroid, which is sending a message to your hyperthyroid, which is sending a message to all the glands of your body and saying, regulate, regulate, regulate. Well, guess what? That takes a lot of energy. That takes a lot of iron. So we find that it would, when we get to January, which is the coldest month of the year, right? Our iron reserves are depleted. That's why a lot of root vegetables are available right now, but we wash them too well. We wash all the iron and all the dirt right off of them because we want them to be clean, because dirt is dirty. That's Mother Earth. That's not clean. That's a low vibrational, dirty thing. Well, you know, we'd have to get into that in a whole nother talk, but the iron is important. So we have that iron essential. We have a few more iron essentials on the website, and we also still have some heaven on earth. Heaven on earth is going to calm you down because, see, this is a rough ride. Breaking away from your old stuff is deep because that stuff will haunt you, man. It's like creatures. These are mental parasites, and they will kick your ass as you try to break away from your old way of living, your old habits. So we have that product, Heaven on Earth, which helps to repair your neurons, and it gets your sympathetic nervous system and your parasympathetic nervous system and your vagus nerve to be balanced with each other. So we have a lot of those products at elevationtime.com. And don't forget those classes. There's a lot of classes online that can prepare you for what we're about to do on, you know, what we're about to offer on the 7th. And like I said, on the 7th, for those of you that don't know, we will be giving out the sacred date of the real, true Christmas for this year. It changes every year. We're going to talk about
you're gonna tell them Dr. B, you're gonna tell them the formula so they can figure it out themselves every year from.
Yes, you will get this formula. This formula was given to me, given to a group of us in a very special event. And we, you know, everybody, I don't even know anybody who knows the formula. I haven't met, well, actually, no, I have. And those people were actually in the class, and one other person who I met. But this formula was given to us, and it is, you know, people know about what's happening, but they don't know when. Some people will say, well, this is the date. But what are you supposed to be doing on that date? What are you supposed to do? How do you use it? So we're going to give out the sacred date, and that sacred date comes after the 7th. That date is the game changer. It's the game changer. It's like it's over. You will become the plug. You know, you've been talking about you trying to get the plug. You're going to be the plug. You've been the plug. People have worked very hard and diligently and spent trillions of dollars trying to make you think you ain't the plug. You're looking for the plug. You're looking for Jesus. Waiting on this, waiting on that, waiting on the lotto. You are the lotto. You are the booty. You are the melanin, the black gold. You just write that down. I am the plug. But you need to know what to plug it into. Is it an alternating circuit? Is that an alternating current? Or is that direct current? You need to know what the plug is. What is the voltage? You need to know how to crystallize your cells. And you do that with a thing called a rectifier. A rectifier is a special electrical circuit that changes polarity. It's also called a diode. Some of you who are in crystals, you know about diodes, right? You talk about, oh yeah, I need to wear this diode, this kunzite. It changes, you know, disagreeable energy into positive, you know, energy, you know, C64, and I'm using the, you know, such and such, the buckyball. There's a whole thing with this buckyball thing, you know, with these. That's a whole science, you know. I don't want to trigger into that, but the C90 and all of these technical things. But guess what? Guess what they didn't tell you? You are the crystal. You are the diode. It's not outside of you. It's not the tools that you use outside. They're just kind of cofactors. They're helping you, but they're not it. It's you.
You. Yes, sir.
once you learn how to row your boat
Gently down the stream.
gently down the stream. That's the flow state. So in this moment, I would just like to say thank you. ElevationTime.com. There's a lot there. You can be in college there. Go check out Forbidden Knowledge, what Billy's talking about. And there's a place where we meet because it's kind of like yin and yang with us. You know what I'm saying? It's really interesting. But this is it. And I heard about what the investment was, and I was like, you sure for this? But then this brother with his beautiful heart, he started talking about this should be like a gift. And it really is. It really is a gift, because I don't know of anybody else that's given this kind of information. And not a thing where you're going to need this. You come to this class. You ever go to those classes? You pay this money to go to these classes. Then it says, well, to really open it up, you're going to need another class.
Yeah.
Then you're going to need the next class. You're going to need the next class in the next class. No, you're going to get everything in this class so you can become the plug and begin to plug other people in and go out to the world. And let's change this thing, because once we have, at least 10,000 people vibrating to the frequency of 500, which is true love, each person vibrating at 500 on the scale, right? Guess what? That affects 750,000 people on the planet. Would you like to be a person that doesn't even have to go anywhere? You become a transceiver. You're just not picking up information like a radio station. You're sending it. Transceiving is a whole special power. Sending and giving and becoming a superconductor. And one last thing before I go. What is a superconductor? They keep asking me. A superconductor is an element or a thing that gives away all of its energy and loses none. The sun,
and that's what we are.
That's what we are. We all have the ability now, and we didn't have it before. We have the ability to now to become superconductors. That means you're gonna have to conduct your life in a certain way too. You just can't be all egotistical and tripping and be narcissistic and, boy, I got this knowledge and I'm such and such. And you got this big name and this title and you could throwing around your degree because you're a professor and, talking about everybody else in a disagreeable way. You become loving and you become giving. And once you become loving and you get out of what they call greed, which is survival mode, you realize that no matter what you give, you will receive back. And you will also learn how to not only receive it back, but receive it 10-fold, 100-fold, 1,000-fold. That's what it's happening. Whoo! It's on fire. This is it. I'm excited.
I love it, Doc.
That's my aunt used to say, hallelujah, hallelujah, which means hail to the sun, which is a good thing because today is the day when we say thank you to the sun for giving us all this energy. And let's be in superconductivity mode. And let's love each other. Let's use words of love for the next 3 days. Indeed. No disagreeable talk. No disagreeable self-talk. No gossip. You see, just be as clean and clear or neutral. Just be quiet. Shut up. Go cry if you need to. Go scream. Go laugh. Go have some orgasms. Don't be holding it back, trying to hold your mouth. Go give thanks for what we have. Take your shoes and socks off, even in the freeze. Why do you think the weather is so cold? They said it's going to be the coldest winter on record. And they're controlling the weather. Why would you make it the coldest winter on record? Because if you're cold, you're worried. They said, I've never heard this term before. They got this new thing. It's called a weather bomb. You heard about this?
No.
They're going to have a weather bomb. What is a weather bomb? They said the atmosphere is going to explode this weekend. I was like, I'm just walking by the television. I hear this. What did they just say? How do they know this, first of all? They tapped directly into the universal God. A weather bomb. It's going to be colder than ever. Prepare. What they're telling you is to be afraid. Be afraid. Have fear and worry. And when you're worrying, you're worrying. And as long as you're doing that, you cannot obtain the natural gifts of superconductivity because they're telling you how to think and how to feel. You can't tell me how the weather is going to be in 2-3 days. It's impossible. I don't care what your radar, your Doppler radar, and all those red graphs. That don't work. The weather is the atmosphere you create around yourself. The atmosphere you create around yourself is your weather, whether or not you realize it or not. You have been in full control. And if you are not ready, then get ready.
Man.
I will see y'all on the 7th. You control the weather. You become the superconductor. You are the captain, the CEO. And if you're not right now, you will be on the 7th. Or after that, there will be no more excuses. The revolution will not be televised. It will be live on
January 7th.
Or January the 7th. And you're saying he's pumped up. I'm pumped up about this. I'm excited my own self to know that it's going to be so many people that are going to rise together. And this is what we've all been waiting for.
And let me just answer a couple of questions I've seen in the chat. For those who bought tickets and you want to know when will you get the workbook, you'll probably get the workbook the day before the workshop. And Queen Nefertiti, I know you want a ticket. Your email is placed on the guest list, so you won't get a ticket, but you'll get updates when everybody else gets updates. So as soon as the update goes out, or as soon as any information goes out about the event, you will get it, Queen. But I'm aware of your name, you, the other brother earlier, I forget his name right now, but I got all of your names written down, so y'all don't have to worry about it. Y'all on the guest list, and we getting ready to close out. I'm just seeing if there's any last questions pertaining specifically to the workshop. I just want to make sure I take care of everybody who is curious about the workshop. I want to thank all of you for tuning in tonight. Will I be able to buy the session after the 7th? I'm not sure. So I advise you to get it before, and you'll have lifetime access to it. So even if you can't attend, you'll have access to it after. But I do advise you to, if you can, but I'm not sure about after as of right now. I don't know exactly how that's going to go down. Let me see. I think that's it. So with that being said, we're going to wrap it up.
Can I ask you one favor?
Yes, sir.
Before you close out, can you do one thing?
Yes, sir.
For all of us? Could you play that commercial one more time on the outro?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes,
I
sir.
like that one.
The one that's powerful. As we close out, as we close out, family, I want y'all to check out this commercial. Check out the music. Check out the energy emanating from Dr. B as he speaks. Family, will the workshop talk about semen retention? I don't think so. Nope. I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think so.
Can I order life? We're going to talk about letting go of everything you no longer desire.
Indeed. Will it work? What else? Can I order January 4th? Yes, you can. It's a little late, but yes, you can. It doesn't matter what time zone you're in. You just have to figure out what does that time zone equate to Eastern Standard Time. So you just got to figure that out. All right, family. But listen, thank you, everybody. I mean, today was like, wow, one of the top shows of the year. This was absolutely amazing. I advise all of y'all to just put some good energy out there for yourselves tonight in your atmosphere. Create your own weather. I mean, wow, this is powerful, Dr. B. I mean, you go next level every show, man. So thank you to everybody, and we're gonna sign out. We're playing this commercial, family. We're gonna see you on January 7th. I'm gonna be back tomorrow. Matter of fact, family, I got Rod Hayes tomorrow night, so all of y'all can tune in tomorrow night with my brother Rod Hayes. And with that being said, we signing out, family. Peace.
Travel light.
My name is Dr. B. Sirius. Billy Carson and I will be presenting a very special workshopping class called the Blueprint for GodPower. On January 7th, I'm going to teach you how to tap into the divinity code within every one of your cells, which lights a fire towards your desires, where your wishes become manifestation. If you are seeking radiant health, sustainable wealth, and limitless love, be at this workshop. God power is when you begin to crystallize your imagination, when you become intentional You'll get a blueprint of how to conduct yourself, to anchor yourself, the captain of your ship, so you can ride the wave where your conscious mind and your subconscious mind are working together for your higher self. So come, get the tools of transformation, because this information has never been given like this before. After this day, you'll know exactly who you are and how to move forward. 2023 and beyond, the blueprint for God power is yours.
Powerful. Peace, family.